Welcome to our first demo in our How to Draw series on your favorite character. And the first character up is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog. So when we're drawing Sonic, the first thing we're going to do is give him a round head. Next, instead of adding our center lines, we're going to start with his muzzle. So the first one is an oval shape that's towards the front of his face. And then the second one is going to be a smaller oval shape towards the back of his face. Then we can add a small oval shape towards the front. And one of the things about sketching is you want to start off with a light drawing so that we can later erase lines. Next up, we want to add his eyes in. And based on the reference that I was using, his eyes are on a slanted angle. So the first eye is more of an oval shape. And the second eye is more of a circular shape. And the center of his face is roughly right in between these two, and we can just judge it from being a little over from the nose. So next up, what we want to do is look at a little bit of space above his muzzle, and we're going to create a V shape coming from the eye, going towards the other eye. So we have this V shape, and then next up, we're going to draw the eyebrows in the ear. So we only have to draw one in this particular instance, and really all we want to think about is a little square right above his eye. And then once we have this square, we can draw a triangle off of it. Right. So from this triangle, the same angle that we have on the eye, we want to kind of think of for the other ear, and we're going to draw a backwards check mark like so. And this gives us another triangle to add in for his other ear. So last, what we want to do is we want to draw on his hair. And for his hair, it's going to be somewhat simple. We want to kind of follow the rhythm of his head, coming all the way around, like so. And then from the bottom of his head, just up a little bit, we're going to draw a line going back on an angle. Now, one thing about Sonic's hair is it kind of curves. So we're going to draw on this curve. And the middle one is actually the longest. So roughly, I'm going to just guess somewhere around the middle. And I am going to draw a line like so. And from here, we can just connect the points. So we make another triangle. And then we have our point here, so we can make this triangle here as well. And then roughly where we have this one wrapping around, we're going to make this last kind of curvy triangle. So now we have our shapes. And now that we have our shapes, we can go in with our eraser and we can start softening this up. So I'm going to erase this a little bit, get rid of all of the bolder lines. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser and I am going to lighten up my overall drawing. So now at this point, we can go in and we can start adding a little more detail and we can start making it a little sharper. So what I want to do now is I want to start drawing my oval for my nose again. And this time I can let the lines be a little darker. And I'm going to draw the highlight, which is another oval. And then I can shade this in. And then from his muzzle, what we're going to have is right where we have this little connecting point, this is really going to carve out for the eye to sit in. And then it's going to round up to his mouth, to his nose. So here, we're going to wrap this around. And this makes one of our eye sockets. And now, instead of following that V shape, we're going to round this off a little bit. And as we get down to the V, we're going to make it a soft V. So it's almost going to have like a V/U shape. And then we can go back up the other way. And then over here, we can round this as well. So now we have our eyes drawn in. So remember we said our center was somewhere around here. So I'm going to put this pupil a little to the right of it, and we're going to kind of draw almost this oval shape, and he has a little highlight. So over here, we're going to have a longer oval shape, like so. And again, we're going to have an oval inside of it to make the highlight. So now we have our eyes in place. So here, I want to kind of draw a point a little on the high side. So I'm going to kind of draw here, and then I'm going to round it and come all the way back around to his nose. All right. And we have a small little point. And then roughly a little behind his eye, we're going to make a little, almost a straight line with a little curve, and then we're going to curve it a little more. And we almost make like this sideways T, the letter T. And now we have our mouth, nose, and eyes. So up next, for his eyebrow, we have this box shape. We're going to round this a little bit and make it softer. And both on the side and on the top, make it a little round. And then we can pretty much do the same thing with the ear. Soften it with just making it a little rounder. And then we can draw a smaller triangle on the inside. So the same thing over here, we're going to round this out a little bit. And then we're going to draw another triangle on the inside. So now we have our ears in. So at this point, I'm not going to connect this here all the way to his head because I am going to add his body in just a minute. So here we're going to kind of draw this with it floating in space. And again, we're going to make this a little rounder. And we'll do the same here. We'll make this a little rounder. And this one will keep it somewhat straight. And now we can draw this connecting back to the ear. So now we have this, and we have Sonic's head completed. Now onto the body. So again, when we start sketching a body, the first thing we want to do is we want to draw lightly. And based off of his head, his body is actually smaller, so we're going to draw a smaller circle towards the front of his body. And we're going to draw a smaller circle within the circle to create his belly. From here, his legs are slightly on an angle, so I'm going to pretty much draw a rectangle going down, like so. And then for his feet, I'm going to draw roughly another rectangle, this time a little, or more of a square shape. And I'm going to roughly put a little divide in between this square, and I am going to favor, so let's put in this leg first. So we'll draw the thickness of the legs. And now based off this leg, I am going to draw a center line about here. So from this point and this point, I am going to make a triangle. And then from this point and this point, we're going to make a triangle going the other way. So now we have roughly our body laid out. So next we're going to draw an oval shape, and this is going to be our first hand. And we're going to draw a couple ovals. So we're going to add another one here. I'm going to grab one more here. And then on the opposite side, a little away from his body, we're going to draw another oval. Then we're going to draw a circle pretty much bigger than that oval. And at the top of the circle, we're going to make a line just going straight across. And then towards the bottom of the circle, we're going to kind of make a line almost going down in a southeast position. and then we're going to draw a curve like so. So we'll end up with something along these lines. So for this arm, it's very simple. It's literally just creating a line in between, and it has just a really small curve. And then for this arm, we're going to treat it more almost like the letter C. So roughly right under his jaw, we're going to kind of create a letter C, but this is going to be a really soft C. Right? So this is the outer arm, and I'm going to do it again, and this is going to be the inside of his arm, and we can just cap it off with a little round edge, and we'll leave this side open for now. So now we have our arm, and last we can draw one more triangle going this way. So now we have our body laid in, and again with our eraser, I am going to lightly erase over my drawing. And at this point, we're going to add a little bit of detail to the hand so we can clearly see what's going on. So for the first detail, I am going to draw an oval just about the same size as the circle. So here is where I'm focusing. And then what I can do is I can draw a line that follows this oval. And then I'm going to think about the less than or greater than sign, something like this, on both sides. And then we can curve back to the circle, like so. And then over here, in this small circle, I am going to draw pretty much an oval, and then there's one more oval that's kind of hiding. So now I can just think about the hand coming down this way. There's a little break. And we can also make like this little triangle shape right here. And now if we draw the hand in, we would end up with something where it connects to those fingers and it wraps around. And we're just going to connect these, and we'll connect this last one. So now we have our hand resting on our hip. So the same thing over here, we're not going to have the same little setup, and we can think of this being colored in really lightly. So over here, we have our hand kind of going this way, and what we haven't put in yet is the thumb. So what we can do is draw an oval about here, and then draw a straight line down, and then we want to draw a line on an angle. And then for the fingers, we're going to draw ovals towards the top, and then we're going to space them out. So we'll have an oval here, we'll have one here, and one about here. Didn't make it all the way around, but close enough. And what we can do is we can connect these with the letter C. So C here, we'll have a C here, and we'll have a C here. And as we connect them, we create our fingers. All right, so now we'll move down to the cuff of the glove. And again, we're going to think about this less than or greater than sign, or we can look at it as the letter V, just really flat. And the same thing on the bottom, we're going to make this little less than or greater sign. And then we can kind of connect this based off of our circle. So as we move our way down to the feet, we're going to draw an oval right at the bottom of where we put the legs for the first one. And again, we'll follow along the top line. And then we're going to do the greater than, less than on each side. And then this time, if we divide this in half, we're going to favor this side, and we're going to draw a little loop going down and come back up. So we want it to hang lower, closer to the inside of his foot. So now over here we can draw an oval as well. we can draw a line to follow it, greater than or less than. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw this little arch happening. And now we have our shoes. And instead of keeping this line straight, we're going to curve this a little bit. And we're going to curve this one to go down. We're going to curve this a little bit. And then we're going to curve this one. So now we have our feet in place. And then last, we're going to make like this little arch. And you can also think of it as like the number 7. And then it just rounds off. Right? So if we think of it as the number 7, but then we round it off, we end up with something like this. And then he has a little buckle, 2 straight lines up, and we'll connect them. So the same thing over here. I'm not going to draw the 7 in, but I'm going to just draw this little arch on both sides, like so. And the buckle doesn't show on this side. So now we pretty much have our body and our hands laid in. So again, lightly erase, lightly erase. So now I can actually go in and start cleaning this up. So I won't be talking much at this point, but I will do a quick cleanup. And notice on this glove, I'm not connecting the lines. The same thing here. I'm not going to connect the lines of the hand. I want to leave this with a little bit of space. And I'm actually not going to draw all the way up. I'm actually going to look at my drawings because my fingers are feeling a little long. So maybe I'll shorten it a little bit. But using my reference and my guidelines, it'll still be somewhere in the same ballpark. So now we have that, and I'll put a little arch in here for the little thumb pad. And here we have it. We have our Sonic the Hedgehog full body character done. So while I finish wrapping this up, we'll continue to offer more examples on different characters as well. Please feel free to share any new characters that you would like to see how to draw, and we'll put together a video for it. Thanks for joining.